Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for a match between the Fijian Drua and the Waratahs. Now, we're slightly running late. That is due to me just getting back from a cricket prize giving. So I do apologise for those couple of minutes that we were absent from this game. But these two sides just about to make their way out onto the park. This game taking place in Fiji. And of course, we've seen a massive advantage for the Fijian Drua when playing at home up against a tough Waratahs side here who have already pulled off a victory over the Crusaders this year in Super Rugby Pacific. But Mark Ngawanganitawasi, he is going to be playing his 50th Super Rugby match today in this contest. And of course, alongside him, some very talented players for the Waratahs as well. But ladies and gentlemen, we are only moments away from the kickoff of this contest. We will quickly show you the starting lineups and the reserves for this matchup. One moment, we will go here, hopefully. We'll end up behaving and we'll go like that. Maybe? I'm not sure if I've got the right ones here as of yet, but it is just loading in. As I mentioned, we have just got home from a cricket prize giving, so I'm very far behind at the moment in terms of whereabouts I normally would be and where we actually are. There we go. Right, we've got the right lineups now, ladies and gentlemen. We are now ready to go for this one. Looking through at the starting lineup. First of all, for the home side, the Fijian Drua, they will be as follows. In the front row here, Reti Hatit alongside Tavera Ikanaviri and Masaki Dongai slotting in as the number 3. Vofi at 4 with Rotui Solia at 5. Then Wanga starts at 6. Mira and Dirialangi to close out the loose forward trio. Lamani at 9. I think it's Kuravuli though. Oh, at least I thought it was Kuravuli in the starting lineup, so I'm not sure whether that's correct. Armstrong Ravula will be there at 10 with Apasalumi Vota in the midfield alongside Osifu Masi. Rakuro, he is a player that has had huge talks about him. He's a brilliant talent and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in this contest. Celestino Ravatamunda out on the other wing and Eliza Drua Sisi to slot in as a number 15. Then for the Waratahs, Angus Bell, Vailanu and Harry Johnson-Holmes as the front row. Jed Holloway and Fergus Lee Warner will be slotting in as the locking duo. Then Ned Hannigan, Charlie Gamble and Langy Gleeson there at number 8. Jake Gordon and Tane Edmund as the 19. Joey Walton and Isaiah Parisi in the midfield with Dylan Peach, Mark Ngawanganitawasi and also Jorgensen there at number 15. We have got there, hey Hamish, you know my coffee time. I do not know your coffee time. And hello Hamish from Berlin. Says Stuart Moore, welcome in mate. And hello Will, says Padza Blaze and Mike Tyson by KO. Says Tony. And there as well, of course, referring to his fight coming up against Jake Paul. I will mention that my head does not actually have a hole in it on this side. It is just due to the lighting. At the moment, we're in a middle stage here in New Zealand, 2 p.m. or so. The Fijian Drua have just laid down the challenge for this game. It's going to be an entertaining contest, and both sides know how to play a fast-paced attacking brand of rugby. It's just whether or not the Fijian Drua having their home field advantage gives them that massive boost that they require, or whether the Waratahs will be able to mitigate that a little bit, but a little bit more of a close challenge between these two teams. We are almost ready to go. Of course, there is another 2 games that we are covering on the channel today, first of which being the Chiefs versus the Highlanders, followed by the Crusaders versus the Blues. So 2 big games just around the corner that we're both going to be covering on the channel as well. James Dolman, he will be the referee in charge of this contest in Fiji. The last time that the Fijian Drua played in a Fijian contest, they were able to get themselves the win over the Crusaders. But it's kicked off by Tane Edmere, kicked off long, and the crowd are already in very loud voices. But Vilive Mira hits it up for the first touch of the match for the Fijian Drua. Lamani now puts it high. Now, originally I thought it was going to be Kuravuli starting as the number 9. With Lamani completely missing from this contest. So I'm not sure what's happened there, whether there is an injury involved that has caused a late change to have to take place. Now, counter ruck there from the Fijian Drua is good. Got this one available. Lamani goes across into the midfield for Wanga. Be his first touch of the day. Lamani again goes across to Armstrong Ravula. Ball on the outside. Skip pass, here comes Osifu Masi, one more, Rakuro. He's flying down the wing, but his foot was in touch. He has been one of the most talked about players for the Fijian Drua for this season, and he hasn't even played a game yet. He's a sensational player He's got speed for days. He's powerful. But unfortunately, he is still playing the same rules as everyone else. You've got to stay in the field of play if you want to have a run down the wing. Hey, Amish, questions, when is the next GoPro? That's a good question. Not actually too sure, to be honest. We've just had our cricket prize giving, so we might end up uploading them over the off-season. But, yeah, unfortunately, we just struggled to have any sort of free time over the last about 6 months. So that's made it tricky. 90 seconds in and the Waratahs have won their first line out. Jack Gordon goes across to Angus Bell. Sits down Lamani's tackle attempt. I mentioned the Tars are wearing the classic white here for this contest with the light blue trim, whereas the Fijian Drua, of course, in that classic dark blue with the almost an aqua type of green. Big run forward from Drua Sisi, 40 metres from their own line here, the Fijian Drua. Lamani looks off to the left. Does pass it out wide. Let's go, says Reeves. Hanara there, covering the URC today. We are doing the Sharks game versus Ulster, as well as Stormers versus Edinburgh. They are the two games that we are going to be covering. Armstrong Ravula puts the ball up high for the Fijian Drua. No one really chasing too hard, though, so it's nicely taken by Max Jorgensen. Finds the pass to Edmund. Ball on the outside to Dylan Peach, and a race there with Upper Salome Voda. Puts the boot in behind. Sits up Armstrong Ravula, and no real option for him, but to be able to put it into touch. And I'm a member, I should say, from Reeves. So I would assume that you are one of the people who received one of the gifted memberships on a recent live stream. So congratulations. Of course, be sure to use some of those emojis and whatnot in the chat as well. Now, 5 metres out from the line, it is going to be a Waratahs line out. Now, they're trying to take the crowd out of this game, which is very hard to do because it is definitely deafening at the ground at the moment with the amount of support for the Fijian Drua. Now Vailanu to throw the ball in. They're going to the Chiefs game. Says not moment go. The Tarsi Defunk on the short side. Gamble gets it away to Vailanu. And the first try is scored by the Waratahs. 3 minutes into the contest, they have started with a hiss and a roar, which is exactly what they needed here. And it's question time. Can you get George on the next weekend live stream? Says Brandon. It will depend on whether he's working or not. I can always ask him, but he has been working a lot on the weekends as well as during the week, so it's made it extremely hard to find time. Like a majority of the time when you guys do see videos with George, it's either because he's been lucky enough to get a couple hours off and that's when we're filmed, or we film late at night in regards to those few videos in the studio. But it was a very nice set piece there from the Waratahs. Charlie Gamble looping around the back of the rolling maul, and then just a little pop pass up to Vailanu gets in for the first try of the contest for the Waratahs there. Now the kick, it's not going to be the easiest one of the day, I would think, for Taini Middle. He's got a pretty decent percentage so far when it comes to his kicking accuracy in the Super Rugby Pacific competition. The crowd are definitely a lot more silent now that we have seen that first try scored by the Waratahs. And also Knob Mum says Defunk. Now lining up this kick, and it's just snuck in the left-hand post, making the score now 7-0 in favour of the away side, the Waratahs. Hay fever sucks. But of course, this game will not. It's going to be a fast-paced, entertaining fixture between these two sides. Like I mentioned, we were a little bit late starting this live stream, but only because I did just walk through the door about 2 minutes before the start of the stream. We got back. Oh, that's a hard landing there. Just missed time it, they've said. So Ravatamunda, the man who's been penalised for that one. It looked like an ugly landing. I think that's Jed Holloway. He's got a new haircut, which at the moment his haircut is almost no hair. By the looks of it. Now Taini Med kicks it downfield towards the halfway line. And I was like, I hope you're doing well. There's Pads Ablaze. It is Jed Holloway. Looks like he's taken a bit of a knock on the tailbone. Walking a little bit gingerly. Hopefully he's going to be all right to be able to continue in this match. Now they've thrown it in. Just me, I burn out from YouTube. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm burnt out. We've still been doing our regular live streams each and every week. Like, we haven't done many videos, unfortunately, but that is just due to the schedule not allowing us to be able to do so. But they always say if you get burnt out, you're better off taking a break than forcing yourself to do anything. So maybe a break is what you need, Brandon. Nice run down the wing. Once again, Rakuro, though, he's been shut down. He's almost done a tip tackle there on Joey Walton. He's got to be careful. Jorgensen picks it up for the Waratahs and keeps the ball in the field of play. Now, Harry Johnson-Holmes goes across to Ned Hannigan, spins out a one challenge, but it's taken down to the next. Davida Ikanaveri looking for the counter ruck. Doesn't work for him. Here comes Langy Gleeson. Keep it up, Drua. Says Seira. Out to the 22-metre line. Waratahs in position again so far this round. We have seen 2 games that have been extremely one-sided. Even though there was a little bit of fight back from the Rebels, they still were defeated by a large margin. Moana Pacifica, they were beaten by the Brumbies by what was one of the biggest margins we have seen of the Super Rugby Pacific season. Now Tane Edmed on the short side. Tackled by Tavita Ikanaveri. Navatamunda looking for the turnover. Can't quite get it. Jed Holloway now. Back across again. Nice sell the dummy from Ned Hannigan to pierce his way through the Fijian Drua defensive line. The Tars are throwing everything into this first 10 minutes or so, and they've got themselves another penalty advantage. Nice step. Pass on the outside. Here comes Tane Edmed. Finds his offload away. Parisi does go into touch. They'll go back for the original penalty. 22-3. Half-time for the Waratahs. Says Ivan. There's a possibility if Fijian Drua can't get themselves some position in the middle of the field rather than down the wings. I think that will be something that could help them drastically. One moment, we're about to sneeze, so I will quickly mute. But the Tars are actually going to go for the 3 points here. I miss my wife. She tours over New Zealand because she showed all Pizza Hut she might work at. Says Brandon there. Wait, so she's working at the local Pizza Hut and they've decided that they want to try and shift her to a different Pizza Hut, Brandon? Is that what you're saying? They don't normally do that for people who have just started working at Pizza Hut. That kind of sounds like a management role, to be honest. We'll be straight out in front, 5 metres out. It should be a nice, easy kick. One moment, I'm about to sneeze again. And we are good. Tane Edmed gets the kick over, so that will now make the score 10-0 for the Waratahs after just the 9 minutes in this contest. Not the best start to the match for the Fijian Drua. They've still had some good moments throughout that 9 minutes, though. We've seen some good runs from Nakuru. Just hasn't really been given enough space to be able to capitalise on it. Like that first run down the wing, it was a good one, but he did run on the touchline about 7 times. Kick deep. I think that the big thing here for the Waratahs is they aren't allowing this crowd to have any sort of impact on them. They're just playing their natural game of rugby that has led them some success throughout the season thus far. They were close to beating the Blues last game. They made the Blues look pretty awful, to say the very least. We were talking with Rugby Itch, who of course is an avid Blues supporter. He said it was one of the worst games of the season. And yeah, I think that was down to the grittiness and grindiness that the Tars tried to bring to that game. But currently, 10 minutes in, 10-0 for the away side. Fijian Drua, though, they have now got themselves a line out on the halfway line. And like I mentioned, there are still 2 games back-to-back that are taking place today, ladies and gents, that we are covering on the channel. The first of which being the Chiefs versus the Highlanders. That is going to be an entertaining game. And then also the Blues versus Crusaders will be the one that does follow. Get your opinion, says King Yeshua in there as well. Now, nice run forward from Tavita Ikanaveri. So we've got some good, capable players in that back line, though that was almost a turnover for the Tars. He's done very well, Vailanu, to not... Oh, no, he's given away the advantage. He couldn't quite get out of there quick enough. Quick tag taken by Frank Lamani. Now tries to bust through. He's looked for the offload, and I think it might have gone forward off the foot. So it is play on. Osefo Masi, another offload to Lamani, who has knocked that ball back. Still alive, and Rakuro driven backwards. Who watched the game? Says Akuga. Hopefully I've said that correctly. If you want to know where you can watch this game, Super Rugby Pacific, on their website, they have got a section called Where to Watch. And depending on whereabouts you are in the world, will depend on whereabouts you can watch this game. But Tavita Ikanaveri now running straight at Tane Edmed. This is the best phase play that we've seen. There's a knock-on. I just jinxed it for the Fijian Drua. Unfortunately, they had a few handling errors there, most of which went backwards, so they were able to continue. They were actually under penalty advantage. Lamani wanted to take the quick tap as Fijian Drua were ready. The Tahs were not. Now they have a decision to make. Do they go for the corner? Do they go for the quick tap? Or do they go for the 3? I think that they've got to try and put some big points on the board. And it looks like they're going to go for the quick tap here, the Fijian Drua. They do love playing this style of rugby. Looks like Lamani will take the quick tap, sends it off to the left-hand side. Pass was a bit low, but great hands from Tavita Ikanaviri. Kept the ball alive, and that is going to be a great turnover from the Waratahs. In the ball back, that's almost a tip tackle driving there. Close to a forward pass for the Tahs. They're inside of their in-goal area, but now Isaiah Parisi finds the offload on the outside to Edmed. Goes to Dylan Peach, and he's wrestled into Dutch. The channel for the match. So for us in New Zealand, it is Sky Sport 1. And no coverage yet. I wondered, it's in Fiji. It is indeed a Churchill Park game. And in Fiji, a Yip manager's role. Why she just cook role, not manager's role? Well, she shouldn't have a manager's role, Brandon, if she's just got there, unless she's got some sort of prior experience. Or else I don't think they'll be just throwing a manager's role at her off the bat. Good stuff, mates. There's Bhavani. And Brandon, you're in the wrong place. Says Abe in there as well. Because I watch Hamish's commentary because they're better than the TV commentary. Okay, I can hear one of the Aussies. They were pretty much saying, bring the intensity, boys. Intensity to the scrum. And to be fair, up against the Fijian Drua, you have to. Or else they do start driving forward. I've been watching England, New Zealand, the women's cricket. Says Robert, hopefully you've been enjoying it. A little bit too much movement, says James Dolman, for the scrum. He is already sweating blankets out there. Of course, it's extremely warm in Fiji compared to some of the other games that we've seen in New Zealand and Australia. And come on the drawer, says Treadstone. And Waratahs 18-10. Let's see, says Bhavani. And she works at Pizza Hut before she met me, says Brandon. Now Frank Lamani. They'll defeat this one in Masi scores, says King. Are you sure? I mean, he has been scoring some brilliant tries as of late. Josefa Masi had to wait patiently for his chance to score, but then in that last game getting himself the double up against the Chiefs. But Armstrong, Ravula, flat run forward, 10 metres out from the line. Here comes Lamani with the skip pass to Josefa Masi, and he goes through and scores the try between the sticks for the Fijian Drua. So you're obviously a head king, so if you can avoid spoilers, it would be greatly appreciated. But the try scored by Josefa Masi just after we had actually done a video this week saying that he was the best centre in Super Rugby Pacific so far. He's showing why here. And where we got the draw, says, no, Mum and Aussie team are playing a lot better this year. Hey, there's a lot of yummies. Says, Robert there, and sorry. Says, no, it's all good. You did not know, to be fair. And kia ora, says, Liam Porter, welcome, mate. You are doing well. 14 and a half minutes through, let's go the drawer. Says Pads Ablaze. Yeah, he's just brilliant. Josefa Masi in the way that he's able to break through tackles, create chances for the Fijian Drua. He gets through Isaiah Perezi, through Mark Nwanganetawasi, and he makes it look easy when he does it. And go to the Drua, and thank you, Tahs, for letting us win. I'm going to beat a zip it, says Vinny. And there as well. But this should be a nice, easy kick as well for the Fijian Drua, which will take the score to 10 points to 7. At what time you on the game? Because you are 40 seconds hard of me, says Brandon. So 15:03 is how we sit. Do you do fantasy rugby? Dude, I do not know. I'm terrible at predictions. And I'm also terrible at, I guess, picking players who are going to stand out. So, no. I'm too indecisive, I think. Now, Rawatamunda close to the touchline, but has kept in the field of play. Hang on. I think that kick is missed from Armstrong Ravula. That was almost between the posts. Now, I didn't actually see the kick taken, but he somehow missed it. And yes, Masi says Treadstone. And kia ora Hamish says Vinny, welcome in. Have got there, let's go to the drawer. And the chat as well now. Oh, loose ball, Max Jorgensen knocks it on OD Armstrong. Says Vinny, and not the, oh no, now the scoreboard's updated. It is now 7:10. Okay, that's all right then. They were just a little bit slower adding it on. We also got there, let's go Drua. There's Pads Ablaze. And yes, Marcy says Treadstone. The little mistakes that the Waratahs are making here is going to definitely impact them in the long run. They're talking about the fact that it is so hot out there that the players are all sweating their hands. Of course, going to be slippery as well. Supposed to start at 6 p.m. Are we on Fiji times? We are indeed. So this matchup starting at 2 p.m. New Zealand time, or 2:05. But yeah, there are still 3 more games taking place of Super Rugby today. Next one that is taking place is the Chiefs versus the Highlanders, followed by the Crusaders versus Blues game. That is at Eden Park. And then there is Western Force versus Reds as the last contest. No right timing, Abe. And the Aussies will feel the heat in the second half. There might be a replay maybe, Abe, that you are talking about. Maybe they are showing a full match replay a little bit later on in Fiji rather than the live contest. Hamish, I missed one of your old fan, Kate. Remember her? Says, Brandon, if you're talking about Katie, then of course, yes, we do remember Scrum Lass. Who do you got for the Chiefs and the Blues games? I think the Chiefs should beat the Highlanders, but it's very hard to tell. And then I think the Blues should beat the Crusaders, but if the Blues discipline lets them down, I could see the Crusaders getting themselves their first win of the season. And early stream lad, Eshe, says a Marco now in the midfield, Upper Salome Vorta, crashes himself towards the opposition defence, and another advantage going the way of the Fijian Drua now. Lamani, fishing for that ball inside of the breakdown, goes off to Armstrong, Ravula, tries the cross kick, and Rakuro didn't take it cleanly. He actually had a very good chance of being able to grab that ball, but it goes through. So they do go back for the original penalty, 1:24 p.m. Fiji, says Vinny there. I might. We are about to sneeze again, ladies and gents. Right, we are good. They're talking about Armstrong Ravula. He's got a good kicking percentage, but it looks like they are going to kick this one towards the corner, the Fijian Drua. Like they said, obvious point is, or the obvious choice is to go for 3 points, but the option that they went for, sneeze, we say bullet to that, says Vinny. Now 5 metre line out here for the Fijian Drua. Hey, Brandon, the ball is good on your side. Bard, short one. Lamani's through and scores the try for the Drua. They are now in the lead. And the Waratahs, they started this match so well. They had a 10-point lead over the Drua, and they just let it slip a little bit, and now the Drua have found themselves with a 12-10 lead with the kick to come. And it's Frank Lamani of a short line out, similar to how we saw the Waratahs bring up their first try. But it is very nicely done. Is it just money that stops Fiji, Tonga and Samoa having inbound tests from second tier Northern Hemisphere in June? Says Annoy, I think it's more of the case of most of those top sides get booked in for a North versus South between like New Zealand, Australia and whatnot. So they normally get the first pick of the top teams. And then, like, I would still say that they will have some sort of matchups up against teams. Like, I think Fiji versus maybe Portugal or Fiji versus Georgia, Italy, like those type of matches could definitely take place, but it seems to be those top teams in terms of North and South do end up playing each other. And Rukuro had an amazing preseason. Good to see him start. Waratahs know he's a danger man, says King. And Buller says Defunk. Now lining up this kick, Armstrong, Ravula. And he has got it over. His kicking is immense so far throughout the season, making the score after 20 minutes, 14 points to 10. And not much shade in the crowd. You know, I can see why people have brought the umbrellas out, because it is an extremely hot afternoon for this game. But Lamani breaking through the tackle attempt of Vailanu to actually get over the try line. A little bit of a reverse to what we saw earlier on in the contest. You know, when you work hard, all to wake up on Saturday and mow the lawns. See, I assume that's work hard all week. I had to wake up early to mow the lawns. See, I got up early not to mow the lawns, but I did go to cricket prize giving, which is why I still got my cricket hoodie on. I pretty much got in the door, and then the match was just about to start, which is why we were a little bit late. And good job, Armstrong. Says Vinny, and let's go the drill. Keep the tries coming, says Treadstone. Marco's got something there about the Tsunami Fund. I don't think I can read that all out, Marco, but I have read it in my head. Lucky guy. Says, yikes. Now Tane Edmed. Kicking this one off long again. Nicely taken inside of the 22 by Valive Mera. Very similar to how we actually saw this match start between the two sides. He got himself the very first touch. Now Lamani going short side. Got pressured into running it. He's found the offload to Armstrong Ravola, who tried to find it to Celestino Ravatamanda, but it has travelled forward. So now the Waratahs, they've got the option of either the scrum or the line out available. Armstrong Ravola taking some deep breaths here. He's had a busy start to this contest, already sitting 2 from 2 in terms of his kicking. And also, he's had to really distribute the ball well. This was one of the exceptions to that rule where he wasn't quite able to do what he wanted to with the ball in hand. Now Gordon goes across to Edmed Bell now. Taken down just inside of Drua territory. And Tosso, New South Wales Tars. Tosso, says Marco. Jake Gordon was asking for a penalty. Referee says, no, your guy's doing the same thing. Short ball to Ned Hannigan. An acre of space there, but couldn't quite wait for that next offload. Gets it away to Holloway. Gone backwards, so the Tars are still in possession. Joey Walton, Edmed, goes on the outside to Isaiah Parisi, who looked for the offload of his own. That looked like it went forward. And not because of the bounce afterwards. Of course, it's allowed to bounce forward after the pass. But still there for the Tars. Edmed goes to Langi Gleeson. Trying to go through Deria Langi, which there was no clear gap there. They played at the 7. And Gordon goes straight through. Tried to find the offload to Edmed. He's tackled without the ball. That's a little bit cynical from Frank Lamani there. Okay. I've just talked about the amount of penalties that FIJIAN Drua gave away. That was about 3 in a row, just within a minute period. Got to be very careful or else they will end up with someone going to the bin. And that's the last thing they want in a close game between these two sides. One moment, we are sneezing again. Right, we are good again. Yellow card for Frank Lamani. It is not, but he was very close to one for tackling the man when he didn't have the ball. There was also the penalty advantage against Valive Mera for taking a man off the ball or playing at the 9 early, I should say. And below again, Amish says Vinny. Now, they're going to be rolling forward here, the Waratahs. They are 10 metres from the line. It is now available for Jake Gordon. And as Tars side, Joey Walton couldn't find the offload that he wanted, so instead got smashed in the midsection. I've just heard another penalty advantage as in favour of the Waratahs. Angus Bell runs straight at Tavita Ikanaveri, who's been able to stop him in his tracks. Now Vailanu, the first and only try scorer for the Tars. Another penalty advantage they will go back for. It's time for offside against the FIJIAN Drua. Now the big benefit that they've got currently is they've given away quite a few penalties and penalty advantages, but they have been for different things. And I think that that is massively beneficial for them in terms of why they haven't received a card as of yet. Because if it was, of course, the same thing over and over again, then they'd be in a little bit of trouble. But because there's been a few changes in terms of like what type of infringement it is, I think that's why they haven't ended up with a card at this point. Come on, the drill, stay calm, man. Says Vinny now, Vailanu. Going to be throwing this ball in for the Waratahs. Nicely claimed at the front from Jed Holloway. Rolling ball. Going to be playing nicely here for the Tars. Looks like he's offloaded back to Vailanu, but that is brilliant defence from the FIJIAN Drua. They've thrown the men in the scrum, into the maul. And now it's going to be their scrum. They've done brilliantly to shut that one down of the Tars. Definitely because the last time the Tars were 5 metres out with the rolling maul, they were able to get themselves the try, but not in this case. I think it was mainly Tavita Ikanaveri who got through. Good afternoon, Hammy. Just got home from the week. How's my draw? So they did concede 10 early points. They were 10-0 down and then 2 more tries coming back to back. Doing very nicely for the Fijian Drua. Try incoming for the Fijian Drua or the Waratahs, Ivan? Who do you think will be scoring the next one? A good job, Drua. Says Vinny in Australia. Aussies look knackered. Although, to be fair, Fijian Drua, they are puffing as well. It's been a fast-paced 26 minutes. I feel like this game is flying by compared to some of the games we have seen of the Super Rugby Pacific competition. But that is because both of these sides just want to play attacking rugby. The Tars are trying to match the Drua. That happens all the time. Here's Marco. Now 10 metres out from the line. Frank Lamani will be kicking this one downfield. Pass. Here's Ivan there. One. No touch of the ball. It's now going to be the line out for the Waratahs. About 32 metres out from the Fijian Drua's line. They have to make sure that they keep putting their foot down. Even if they are getting tired, they have to try and match the tempo of the Fijian Drua or find a way of shutting down this Fijian Drua attack. Seeing Vailanu there, he's wiping his hands, he's wiping his head from the sweat. And go on, Drua, hold the line nicely, taken by Ned Hannigan. Looked like the throw wasn't quite where he thought it was going to be. Hit him more almost around the head instead of above the top of the cranium. Now Gordon going off to the right-hand side. Nice inside ball to Angus Bell, but the ball has popped three. And now Celestino Ravatamanda puts the chip in behind, hopes for the bounce, but it goes to Joey Walton. They'll go back for the original knock-on. That is a very long knock-on advantage there from James Dolman. Definitely because Ravatamanda did run and then also went for the chip in behind. Okay, Drua out from the scoreline. Says Vinny. And defence Drua, defence says Treadstone. And there's, I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got plenty more coming in the near future. Just knocked on, though, from Angus Bell on the 22. The ref was so soft with his decisions. Come on, Waz, says Ivan. Tube light equals referee. And at least the Tars aren't wearing pink, lol, says Hanoi there. As well, Jed Holloway, he's had 92 matches in Super Rugby. He's getting very close to that 100. Theoretically, he can still get there by the end of the season. I'll wait and see whether or not it is going to be the case. They've got the fans going in the dugouts. It is extremely warm for this contest, being played at Churchill Park in Fiji. Fijians, of course, have had some real success when playing in Fiji, and by the looks of it, they have also had an earlier game, or sorry, the later game that has taken place. It is the women's match between the women's FIJIAN Drua and also the Waratahs women's side. Drua, the most entertaining team to watch. I agree. I feel like everyone's got a little bit of a soft spot for the Fijian Drua, just because if you want to watch an attacking, exciting game of rugby, win or lose, the Drua are going to give you that. And they're going to throw absolutely everything at it. Nice short ball from Lamani. Here comes Upper Salome Vota. Ball on the outside towards Seful Masi. He's got Ravatamanda with him, but he goes himself and scores another try on Seful Masi. He's gone from having 0 tries after 3 weeks to 4 tries in 5 weeks. 4 tries from the last 2 weeks, in fact, as well. And he scored the try there. Oh, Seful Masi. Scored 9 throughout his debut season for the Drua. I'm still wondering why Fiau I took all my parents' money. Says yikes. And also, let's go the Drua, says Hanoi. And also, try, says Spider-Man. Can come on, baby. Oh. Yeah, brilliantly done. Up is Salome Voda. Went to Seful Masi. He was never passing on the outside to Celestino Ravatamanda. He didn't even know he was there, probably. He just get it straight towards the line. Like they said, he had white line fever, but he just knew that he was going to be strong enough to bust his way through the opposition and score that try. He plays with a high level of confidence. Seful Masi getting 2 tries already in this contest. Still plenty of time left in the match as well. Drua seems to torso in reverse, says Abe. And also Masi, and let's go the Drua, says Hanoi. Armstrong Ravula, this is once again a tough kick right near the touchline, but he has shown already throughout this game that he is more than capable of getting these kicks over. Fiji at home would beat the Wallabies, Wales, Argentina, Scotland and Italy right now. Says Hanoi. That kick has gone over, making the score 21 points to 10. We are about to sneeze again, ladies and gentlemen. We are good. Now, they've actually made a good point about Armstrong Ravula, how strong he has been in that 10 jersey. What do you do when Muntz comes back from his injury? How do you fit both of these men in the side? Because Caleb Muntz, debatably, was one of the top 10s in the competition last year when he was playing well. Now, nicely taken by Valive Miramira. Ravatamanda on the short side, over the ball though for the Tars. Should be their penalty, and it is. Nicely done from Dylan Peach, winning it back for the Tars. Just going to have a quick look here and see what the odds are sitting like for this contest, because the Waratahs did come on as $2.20 underdogs at the start of this match. Currently, the way that it sits, they are, they're $7 underdogs. That's not terrible, I would say, for the Waratahs. Plus, they are just on kind of 5 meters or so out. That was how high you right now, says. Was there from Ivan. A chance for the Tars. Celestino Ravatamanda taking some very deep breaths. You got hay fever, Hamish? I certainly do. There was a little pop pass there, though, and didn't get it right. Not straight from Vailanu, so he actually got himself in trouble twice. It is going to be the scrum feed now for the Fijian Drua, who have got themselves an 11-point lead as we currently sit in this contest. Which is interesting because it wasn't that long ago we saw the Fijian Drua, they were down by 10. Now find themselves ahead by a larger margin. So a free kick here. Or it not being straight, Fijian Drua deciding that they actually want to go for the kick downfield rather than the scrum. Probably a good choice because at the end of the day, they would have just had the scrum and then gone with the kick downfield anyway, so they just skipped the scrum type thing. It's a great kick from Armstrong Ravula, getting it a good 40 or so meters. No change of plan, says Vinny. And normally, like most sides do just take the scrum off a not straight line out, but then saying that, not too many times we actually see not straight line outs inside of the 22 of the opposition. We have Leve Miramira, and the ball up now for the Fijian Drua, 31 minutes in. Already we are closing in on the halftime break. Ravatamanda cuts back inwards. Does well, although Gordon, I think it was Dylan Peach trying to get over the ball, doesn't. Managed to get himself the turnover. And got James thanks, says Vinny. Tack and run from Tavere Canaveri. Just 9 minutes remaining now. Armstrong Ravula puts it across. Nicely taken by Rakuro. Beautiful offload on the inside to Drua Sisi. They need a halfback. There is Lamani. It took a little bit longer to be able to get there. It is now available to pass this one across. Here comes Hiareti Hatit. Drops the head and runs straight at his opposite number, Angus Bell. Short side. Lamani goes across to Drua Sisi. Got a very good chance of scoring another try here. The Fijian Drua, if they get it right. Rotui Solia, 10 metres out from the line. Another run from Ikanaveri. It's been busy early on. Now Armstrong Ravula tried the grubber in mind, but they'll go back for the original penalty in favour of the Drua. That was for offside against the Waratahs. And now a quick tap taken by Tavira Ikanaveri. Moves to 2 metres out from the try line here for the Drua. Round the side, flattened out 1 metre short. Now the decision has to be made. Do they try and fire this out the back line or do they go to the big forwards? Looks like the forwards are getting priority. Dirialangi not able to get over. Now wide pass. Guess who it is? None other than Osifu Masi. Hat-trick for him in Fiji. And the Waratahs, they are sitting there with hands on knees, hands on hips going, what happened to the team we faced in the first 8 minutes? They have completely turned this game around, 26 points to 10. It's getting more and more one-sided, but Osifu Masi scores his hat-trick in the first half. He's got potential of getting more than just the 3-2. Brilliant pass from Frank Lamani to go straight to the hands and forward rather How exciting this game says it was there from Vinny. And I knew it, says Spider, and Marcy Man too good this game. Says Vinny there, and well try Fiji. Says annoying, have the draw ever lost a game at home? Yes, I believe so. But they have got a brilliant record at home where they have taken down some top sides. Like we look at them last year, getting the win over the Crusaders. I believe they beat the Hurricanes at home as well. Now, lining up this kick. And come on the Tars. Come on, mates, gets it together. There's a yikes. Now Armstrong, Ravula. Line up this kick. This one should be the easiest of the day almost for him, except with that first one, which of course was straight out in front of the posts. And he's actually missed it. He gets them from the sideline, doesn't get them from infield. Score will remain at 26 points to 10 in favour of the Fijian Drua. But this has been a brilliant comeback from being 10 down in the opening moments to now be sitting as they are. Massive advantage for the Fijian Drua. And Drua too strong, Bruce. Here's a marker. It's going to be kicked off by the Waratahs down to the 22, which means now again we're going to see the counter-attack from the Fijian Drua in the form of Drua Sisi. Now Lamani kicks it downfield. That's a massive kick, and it's a 50-22. Goes over the top of Max Jorgensen. Goes from bad to worse. The Fijian Drua look like they want to take this one quickly. They don't get to in the end. Ravatamanda went searching for the ball. Now Tavere Kanaveri will be able to go for this line out, and over to go spread. My girlfriend says, yikes, and Drua attack, and kick. Wow, is that right? Says Vinny, yeah, and going for the kick, not just to kick it downfield, play territory, but also to get that 50-22. Lamani spotted it early, and now it's a little bit sloppy from the Fijian Drua, but the ball is still available. Salome Vota has been able to clean it up. Sling and pass across. Knock on there, though, from the Drua. And the Waratahs, they survive the onslaught. It cannot be easy out there as well in the heat. This Fijian Drua side, I'll be honest, like the best comparison I can think of in terms of not so much a ball sport, but another sport is actually MMA. And you'll be a bit confused by that analogy, but MMA, this is like facing a grappler for the Waratahs. They're facing a guy, per se, that's just going to be on them, hold them down, and try and just pretty much suffocate them. And that is exactly what the Fijian Drua are doing. Every time that the Waratahs sprawl and get out of that takedown attempt, the Fijian Drua put them straight back in another takedown, get them on the ground, and then make them give away another try. That sounds like a weird analogy. I don't know if that made sense or not, but pretty much it's like facing someone who's just going to try and drown you. Fiji is pouring it on. That's the penalty, though, to the Waratahs, just out from their own line. 1:45 a.m. here. Still watching the stream. Am I nuts? Says Dennis. Not any more nuts than the rest of us, Dennis. Because at 2 a.m. tonight, we are going to be covering the game between the Sharks and Ulster. So that will be an exciting one to watch. And Hamish the Great says Edward kicked in a touch by the Waratahs, but they will still be inside of their 22, so they'll be able to get it a bit further down the field. Drua and Fiji are forced to be reckoned with, says Marco. Vailanu wiping the sweat from his brow. Getting ready to throw this one in. Nicely taken by Ned Hannigan. Pick across Angus Bell. Rush defence on him by Frank Lamani, but he got the offload away to Langy Gleeson. Voffy looking to get that turnover in the breakdown. Isn't able to do so. Charge down from the Fijian Drua. It's the big man Wanga who almost got through, but didn't quite get it. How many more minutes left for this first half? Still another 2.5 minutes remaining in this first half. What's the weather like at Churchill Park? It is extremely warm. There's no rain around. There's a little bit of cloud cover now, which I think a lot of the players will enjoy, mainly because it will take just that little bit of temperature off, maybe like a few degrees, so you're not sitting in direct sunlight, but it's still going to be extremely warm. And then I think it's time for a more strong tea, says Dennis. And if the Drua says, yeah, it's nice run forward from Meri Deri Alangi. Very, very humid. Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those games that there will be a few handling errors just because there will be slippery hands from the sweat. Wonder what food they would sell the rugby ground there, says Hanoi. It's a good question. I don't actually think that they've shown any food stalls as of yet, but I'm sure there are some at the game. Going off to the right-hand side, Armstrong Ravula, Abisalome Vota. Not the best pass that he has done today, but it does still find the hands of Wanga out wide. Another advantage going the way of the Fijian Drua. Now nicely taken quickly by Eliza Drua. Cece just pushes over Angus Bell in the process. The ball is not out yet. Now Vofi gets it away to Armstrong, Ravola, Vota, Osifu Masi. That's a deliberate knockdown from Mark Nawanga Netawasi. It's probably going to be at least a penalty knock on this time from Miramira. And they'll go back. This almost has to be a yellow card for Mark Nawanga Netawasi with the amount of numbers on the outside. And was that deliberate Tars knockdown? It certainly was. They're just checking to make sure there was cover so that it isn't a penalty try. $13 hot dogs. Says yikes. And $12 chips. Says yikes. That all right, half-time ref. The yellow card for Mark Nawanga Netawasi. That's going to hurt them a little bit there because now they have to play with 14 men on the field. Gets a high five from Celestino Ravatamanda. Hang on, it's raining, is it? Yep, it's just started raining. A heat shower at the game, and I'll be honest, the players probably will be loving it. Even though the handling might get worse, I think that they'll be enjoying a little bit of that cooling effect that the rain may have. Still going to be extremely humid, though. Not exactly the nicest temperature to play rugby in, but the Fijian Drua are showing that you can. And if you're, I guess, adjusted to these temperatures, you can really strive. And promise the hot chips, eh? I like the Apia Park was overpriced fizzy drinks, says Hanoi. Now 9 minutes remaining of that yellow card, but now looks like Armstrong Ravula will actually line up this kick. So is Joseph Suali going to play for the Tars next year? I don't actually know what team he's looking at if he's playing Super Rugby. I know that he's going to be playing for the Wallabies per se. And that kick is actually missed from Armstrong Ravula, but that will take us into halftime. 26 points to 10. A nice lead for the Fijian Drua. 26 unanswered points as well, scored back to back up against this Waratahs team. And we are good there. Once you've heard one rugby joke, you've heard them all, says King there. Lovely. To be fair, there aren't that many rugby jokes around, are there? I do like what you did there with a bit of wordplay, though. And we have got there Bro Show the Game and commentator in the background, just an idea, says Paul Liasi. Hopefully I said that correctly. I do apologise if I have said it wrong. Unfortunately, they are very strict with copyright when it comes to Super Rugby. Like, we've received, I believe in total, 3 copyright strikes from Sanzar, and we've never shown the game. But pretty much any sort of audio or footage that gets shown on YouTube, straight away YouTube take it down, you get a copyright strike, and if we were actually showing it, we wouldn't be able to live stream or do anything in that regard for 3 months. So pretty much we'd lose our job for 3 months for the sake of showing some footage. Like, if there was a way of doing it, we happily would, but because it's illegal and they are very strict on it, it means that we aren't able to show any match footage or audio. Apia Park, surely you ate at McDonald's there, Hanoi, says yikes. And I was way good there, Tars, I think. That's why Parisi and Mark left. I don't want to play with a guy earning 5 times as much, says Hanoi. All right. I've never been to the homelands. My wife is going to Samoa in a few days with our daughter. Me and the son stay home because my ankle fudged up, says Marco. Shame to see all that beer sold in the stadium in Dublin during our games. If you want a drink, go home and have a beer after them games. Bugs me when they spill all that beer, says Dennis. And yeah, you know they're getting charged top dollar for those beverages, of course, at the stadiums. Looking through at the benches for these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. For the Fijian Drua will be Zaril Togiotama, Tanyeri, and also Samu Tuake. There at number 18, Thorika Davita and Salawa as the other two forward replacements. Then Penny Matawalu, Kimi Valentini, and Apeli Momo man who has started at 11 for some of the games, but in this one, of course, Rakuro gets the start, and instead Momo coming off the bench for the Waratahs. They have got Heaven, who did start the last match for them in last week's Super Rugby Round 4, Tom Ross and Thomas Stringer, and then also Amatasiro, Hugh Sinclair, Lockie Swinton, so actually going with that 6-2 split. That is due to the fact that they know that this will be an extremely fatiguing game. They have to make sure that they are on their A game there. Then it's going to be Grant as well as Tristan Riley, the last two replacements for the Waratahs. But looking through at future games, while we are at halftime next week, the Force have got their game up against the Fijian Drua. Now that is also taking place in Fiji. They've got the game up against the Rebels the week after, and then they've got a 2-week break before they face the Hurricanes at home, followed by another game up against Moana Pacifica. They have, of course, already played them throughout the season. They do get a rematch in that contest in Fiji, and then the Brumbies in 45 days is the last of their next 5 fixtures for the Waratahs. They've got a game up against the Rebels next week, then they face the Brumbies, then they've got the Crusaders and the Chiefs both at home, so that is a massive advantage for the Waratahs in that regard, and then they've got their game up against the Hurricanes. We have the McDonald's there, but not at the ground, says Hanoi, and Fiji and Samoa are the top. Can you use puppets instead? I mean, I know people have talked about me trying to draw it on a whiteboard in terms of what has taken place, which, I mean, would be an idea. At one point, we almost had to, because my voice, I believe it was about 2 years ago, my voice was that bad, I couldn't even speak. Like, I'd try and speak, but I had to, like, really try. Like, I don't even know what time in terms of live streams. I know it was for some BBL live streams a couple years ago, and the voice was gone. So that was when we realized we needed to start drinking a bit of water on these streams so that I don't completely lose my voice. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how this second half goes in this contest. But it is currently raining at the ground. Of course, you can never quite predict the weather in Fiji. 4 Waikato draft stubbies, like $30, are drinking expensive swamp water. How much are the hot dogs and chips at Waikato Stadium? And even expensive Asbro. Seriously, people were hanging out outside looking in as we ate our $50 Big Mac combo. Says, yikes. And I was, and hardly ever buy food at the games, just taking my own. Says, no, that's the thing, like with the cricket that we went to a little while ago, it was New Zealand versus Australia at Hagley Oval in Christchurch. To be fair, like, the food prices weren't that bad there for the whole day, because it was test match cricket, so you spend about 7 hours at the cricket in total. Like, chips for a pottle of chips, you know, it was $5, which I feel like isn't actually that much compared to some locations. Like, sometimes you can get almost a $10 pottle of chips. And because it's such a long day, you know, you're going to end up getting something at some point. But they had like mini donuts and hot dogs and all sorts at the ground. Looking through at some of the stats, though, to do with this first half before we make ourselves too hungry. 388 metres gained for the Fijian Drua throughout that first half. The Waratahs only having 190, so a 200-metre advantage in favour of the Fijian Drua. Defenders beaten. They have beaten 11 compared to the 6 of the Tars. 6 clean breaks compared to the 3 of the Waratahs here. Waratahs, surprisingly, have actually had 4 times the offloads ahead of the Fijian Drua. Fiji only having to make the 29 tackles compared to the Tars, who made the 63. In terms of penalties conceded, there have been 6 against the home side, the Fijian Drua, 5 against the Waratahs, including that yellow card of Mark Nwanganetawasi, which may end up hurting them in the long run. 59% possession in favour of the Fijian Drua. And of course, we've seen Osefo Masi already get himself that hat-trick. We've seen 64 metres carried for him, 5 defenders beaten, 1 clean break. So he is definitely the top centre in the competition currently. We were debating it in the most recent top 5 video that we ended up doing. But yeah, he's definitely up there in terms of the best around the competition at the moment. Yeah, just showing some of the highlights of that first half. Osefo Masi, he just made it look easy in terms of being able to break his way through All right, we're going to go like this. And like that as well. There we go. Right, so the odds are not good at the moment. The best way of describing it. It looks pretty rough, to say the very least, for the Waratahs, but you never know. Super Rugby is one of those competitions that even when you're down by a large margin, you do still have some sort of potential of being able to fight back into it. NRL must be prevented from getting into Fiji. Take all the young talents there, Hanoi. And I know that there's been a few players in the past who have decided that they want to play in the rugby league side of things rather than rugby union. But, you know, overall Fiji in that Rugby League World Cup, I thought they actually did pretty decently. I think they made it through to the semis, if I'm correct, in the game up against New Zealand. Now, I could be wrong there. I think it was that, and then on the other side of the draw, Australia did take on someone, held on to half-time, normally about 10 minutes. So I think we've still got another maybe 4 or 5 minutes remaining. Just very quickly going to sneeze, ladies and gents. One moment. Right, we are back. How tall is the Drua coach? Not too sure of his exact height. Just showing the offloads, though. The Waratahs actually having more in this game compared to what we saw for the FIJIAN Drua, which normally the Drua are known as that side trying to keep that ball alive. Tallest coach in the world says Octo Dad and Island aren't worth. I can even win the big game, says Edward Seta. Although, of course, recently getting themselves the Six Nations title 2 years in a row. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes in the next contest. We do get to see the Irish taking on South Africa in South Africa as well. That's going to be a big test for New Zealand. They have got England. For the Australians, they have got their series taking place up against, I think they've got Wales, if I'm correct, and then Argentina taking on France. Now, I'm not too sure who Fiji have on the international calendar. We'll quickly go Fiji Rugby schedule. Just while we're at it, we'll see who they have got. Right, they've got, no, that's the FIJIAN Drua. Who is the next big game for Fiji is the question. Select the team. Right, they've got a lot of information on this one, but I don't think any of it's actually what we want. They've got Fiji Warriors, is that? Fiji Water Flying Fijians? What's the actual Fiji team called? They've got the Fijian Sevens and whatnot, but just Fiji. They don't seem to actually have, in terms of the information, I think they're Fiji Rugby Union fixtures. We're gonna find them out before the end of half time because I feel like they would have some games confirmed. I would like to think. Flying Fijians, Hamish. I thought, yeah, Flying Fijians, although it didn't have them on the list. So, of course, they've got the international up against New Zealand. That has taken place in America. But other than that, it doesn't look like they've got too many games confirmed. In the November internationals, they'll be playing Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. But I would like to think Fiji would have more than just one game in their July internationals. I feel like if they only get the one, and that is up against New Zealand and America, that seems a little bit rough. Ireland rugby does okay. They got the same problem as Aussie. Gaelic football takes heaps of top young talent. That's tall as Steve Borthwick. Played lock, didn't he? What player or what position did Wazzy Owasmus play? Was he an ex-Springbok? Mate, I don't even know. Here's a Marco. And there as well. Yeah, second half just around the corner, ladies and gents. Fiji at the moment have got themselves a nice lead. Of course, Osefo Masi doing well to be able to score as many tries as he did throughout that first half. Any games for the draw in June for home games. So for one moment, we'll go Super Rugby. I think they've still got quite a few home games. The problem is by June, we're into playoff games, I believe. So 1st of June, they play the Rebels. And then after that, were into quarterfinals, etc. So the Fijian Drua would have to be in that top 4 to be able to have a home game from there, which is why it's so important that they start winning games away from home as well as just at home. Because if they can start doing that, I think that the goal at the start of the season was for them to be able to win 10 games. And I honestly feel like that is a very decent goal and an achievable goal for the Fijian Drua. Okay, the Barbarians are taking on the Fijians on the 23rd of June. Ladies and gentlemen, that is one game that we've found for the Fijians. So they've got the Barbarians. Then they have got men's internationals. They've got New Zealand in the United States. And that seems like their only game. That seems unfortunate for the Fijians. Like, in this case, of course, Pacific Nations Cup makes it a little bit tricky because that is still to come. But I would have loved to see at least Fiji have 2 or 3 extra games. I see Portugal are going to be taking on South Africa. That is Portugal's only game. Why not chuck Fiji up against them or give them a game up against, you know, the Georgians, although they've got 2 games confirmed at least, which is a bit of a start. You won't see a lot of these guys at Love Island again. Come on, guys, 4 million in my country. We don't have many rugby players and still can beat the best teams, so put that in your pipe and smoke it, says Dennis. But yeah, I feel like Fiji should definitely have more than just a couple games. Enough gamers, Barbarian, sure, thank you so much for that info, says Vinny. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, they're going to be a top side in the future, I believe, Fiji, if they can keep on progressing the way that we've seen over these last couple of years. I think the Fijian Drua is definitely helping the strength of the international team for the Fijians, being able to make it through to the quarterfinals of the World Cup as well. Not too many people did predict that, and they were competitive in their game up against the English after beating them just a bit prior. I could always import more Kiwis, says Marco in there as well. Well, it's just more getting them games, isn't it? Like, for these Pacific Island nations, I don't think I saw Samoa with any games confirmed for July as of yet, which of course means a lot of the other sides are now out of the running for the possibility of playing. Second half just about to start here in this contest. Frank Lamani rearing to go. The second 40 minutes. Kitioni Salawa has made his way onto the field, and I believe that was to replace, I think it was Felipe Mira. Shadow Hunting NZ has said, good afternoon, name. It's been a while since I've watched one of your streams. Let's go the Drua. And good to see improvement for the Drua and Pacifica, says Shadow Hunter. So welcome back, mate. Hope you are keeping well. There's a sneeze off the bat. For the second half, we're only 20 seconds in and already hit by the first sign of hay fever again. Still that yellow card for the Waratahs for the next 9 minutes. They will not have Mark Noanganetawasi. Now Jack Gordon puts the ball up high, nicely taken by Drua Sese. Goes across to Armstrong Ravola. Short ball to Upper Salome of Horta. In fact, it's going to be Rakuro. And well, thank you, says Shadow Hunter. That is good news. Lamani kicking it in behind. Plenty of height there. Looking for the 50-22. And I think he's got it again. Yes, he does. The second 50-22 of this contest. I think that's the most that we've seen throughout a Super Rugby Pacific game for an individual player anyway, throughout the year. And also hay fever for James. Take care. Yes, still hay fever. Ends up hitting every single weekend at the moment, it would seem, and also throughout the week as well. Of course, it is a bit of a factor. Now, Ikanaveri throws it in, but Holloway manages to steal it for the Waratahs. Vailanu takes it to the turf. I'm not Samoan either. Neither. My wife is, so I know some of the things. I love my Samoan in-laws. They're beautiful people. And look at the past few games Island lost. Come back and tell me how much I lost by. I'll tell you guys by 1 score, says Dennis. Ratui Soli is actually the player who was taken off, not Mira. A good clearing kick for Jake Gordon up to the halfway line. There was a rain falling just at the end of the first half as well as throughout half time. It looks like it's back to cloudy for the second half with less rain in the air. Now Ikanaveri to throw this one in. Nicely slapped away by Meri Deri Alangi. Throw wasn't the straightest, but it had to be wonky or else Jed Holloway was going to get that steal. Now Eliza Drua tackled by Isaiah Parisi. Been coming into his own in terms of form throughout the last couple of weeks. Lamani going short side. Looking for the kick in behind again. Max Jorgensen just has to watch it go into touch. Lamani's kicking game's been incredible throughout this first 43 minutes. Dennis, the All Blacks don't lose to Scotland. Says yikes. 6.5 minutes left of that yellow card. So my kid's a half Samoan, so I'm hoping my son will be a big island kid and weigh 80 kgs at 10 years old, but he's not. He's a skinny boy, 46 kgs at 10 years old. Samoan genes missed him. Says a Marco. Now nicely taken by the Fijian Drua, though there is a knock-on in the process, and now the Waratahs have got themselves another scrum feed. Like they're saying, the Drua's line-out defence, even though the Tars have been the side that have been able to slap it around a little bit when it comes to line-out time, they have still proven they can be extremely handy. Oh, we will go like that and like that. In terms of the odds, currently the Waratahs are still $21 underdogs here. They are inside of their own territory, so it's going to be tricky to be able to get out of there at this stage of the match. And a thumbs up given by Apicillo Mivota, though. He's ready to go. Jake Gordon wanted to put it in. He's saying there is too much movement there, so they've got themselves another free kick. Was hoping for the penalty. I think if it happens again, that will be when we see the penalty given. It's against Misaki Donge for the free kick, and it looks like the Tars are actually going to just opt to kick this one downfield. Let's get some good distance on that kick, Tane Edmed. The next game that we are covering on the channel, ladies and gentlemen, it will be starting at 4:30 p.m. New Zealand time. That is at an hour and 20 minutes time. That will be the matchup taking place between the Chiefs and the Highlanders. My 14-year-old is 52 kgs, 175 centimetres. He has no fat on him despite eating things like sausages. Doesn't exercise. I look at a sausage, put on 200 kgs. Says Novmum there. Although sausages, to be fair, they're probably not the worst food of the world. Like, yes, they've got quite a high fat content, but as long as you're having them in moderation. Oh, it's come off a blue foot, so it is now going to be the scrum feed for the Waratahs again here as they move to only $16 underdogs. Seems like people feel like the Tars have a little bit of a chance here. Not a huge one, like it's quite small in terms of their chances. One moment, we're about to sneeze again. There we go, we are a little bit better off. And why don't you cover the Aupiki game, Amy? Says Spider Mick. If we're talking about the one that was earlier on today, it is because I was at cricket prize giving, which is why I'm still wearing the same hoodie as what I wore to cricket, because I only got home at about 2 p.m. Turned on the PC and got the live stream set up so that we were ready to go by 2:02. Nice run, Isaiah Parisi inside ball to Charlie Gamble. And they get themselves the try that then puts them back in the contest here, the Waratahs. It is not over yet. They have started the second half similar to how they started the first, and that is scoring early. But it's whether or not they can keep the momentum flowing. He has zero interest in sport. I put him in a sport knob, mum, get him to work. And I say, yes, son, is no skinny fat athletic, I suppose. I've not no met on him at all. Would hope for him to run into heavy contact in footy. Get folded in half, says Marco. I mean, one of the guys from our cricket team, he's a very small individual. And he broke his collarbone this last week at school because he got tackled. Collarbone went boop and completely broke in half. So, yeah, I think that's why he was playing cricket. Now he has to sit there with the sling and the cast and whatnot for about probably 2 months. Wonder if Gamble would make the Satyrs this year. I feel like he'd still have a decent chance, old Charlie Gamble, no matter what side he plays for, just because he seems to be a great support runner and also works hard in those breakdowns. Come on the task, says Ivan. Kids these days says yikes. And there as well. That's going to be kicked up high. Nicely taken by the Tars just outside of their 22. And the kick was successful, so it now makes it the score of 26 to 17. Another knock on, though, from the Waratahs. 4 pass and bigger, says Rugby Crazy Fijian in the chat as well. Welcome, Mimbo. And ouch, I broke my collarbone many years ago. Very sore, says Marco. Yeah, it's not a nice thing to break because you don't realise how much you use this part up until you do something bad to it. It's like if you end up, doing a shoulder or something and you don't realise how much just little movements can be painful. And Drua win the gold medal. So here's Nathan Salua, of course. We're going to see the Fiji 7 side in action at the Olympics. They'll be looking to get themselves the gold. Fiji draw, they want to get themselves in the top 4 so they can then get themselves the home quarter final. Here comes Merideri Alangi. He has been hit so hard. And that tackle from Dylan Peach looked like an awkward landing as well. And he has now stayed down. But they're 10 metres out the line. Here come the drawer again. Big run forward from Tavera Kanaveri. It's Kitione Salawa alongside him. Lamani thought about going to Wanga but goes in behind. Pushes it onwards. Here comes Rakuro, showing that pace. He's tackled slightly high by Isaiah Parisi. Tries to hold him up. Does get the knees down, so it is going to be the Drua's ball. Vofe gets closer now on the short side. Osefo Masi. He wanted his 4th try. Not able to get over the try line though. Lamani goes across to Vofe again. And Lamani goes to Heretiatit. Quickly recycled. Ekanaveri's over. And it's another try here for the Fijian draw. They answer back almost directly after conceding, which is exactly what they needed to do to keep the pressure on and keep that lead building. I see that the rain is now falling once again at the game, but it's 8th try for Tavera Ekanaveri. Actually his first. I snapped my shin in half after a league clash. I screamed, I was so bad I swore myself. Says yikes and Drua on fire. Says Novmum there. Fire still continues to burn even though it is pouring rain. Drua, when they get those men 5 metres out from the line and start chucking forwards at you, seems like it's only a matter of time before they're able to go through. So that was an expensive yellow card of Mark Nwanganitawasi. We've got to remember, he's only now just making his way back out onto the field. Since then, we've seen 2 Fijian Drua tries, I believe. Oh, no, sorry, just the one. Although they did score right at the end of that. No, they didn't. They actually took on the 3 and missed. So, yeah, 1 try while Mark Nwanganitawasi was off the field, and also 1 try coming for the Waratahs. And congrats, Drua. Nice. For the Tars, says Vinny. And also same, is yours still now, says Annoy, in terms of the collarbone hurting. Now back to 15 on 15. Tane Edmed kicks off into the 22. Nicely taken by Armstrong Ravula. Now stepping is Wanga. Now back across. Drua Sisi. Taken down by Parisi. Oh, in fact, he keeps breaking through. Now Lockie Swinton has made his way onto the field for Jake Gordon. That seems like an interesting switch, seeing as Gordon is the halfback. Yeah, Gordon's still on the field. They made a little bit of a mistake there. Lockie Swinton coming on for, I believe, Langy Gleeson. And kick out of from your territory. Okay, I would probably cry if I done that. Says a Novmum. Gordon, back across. Ross didn't want it. Leaves it for Angus Bell, who sold the dummy. And makes a couple extra metres, tackled by Masaki Donge. To the left-hand side. Oh, I cut out pass. Dylan Peach can't gather it. They'll go back for the original advantage. So it is still the Waratahs ball. So there might have been a late tackle on Joey Walton there. Yeah, they're all saying that it is. They're saying that it's what's his face? Jake Gordon, who's gone off the field, but he is still out there alongside Lockie Swinton. They have kicked that one into the corner, though, for the Waratahs. Chance now to try and close that gap a little bit more. It's not going to be too easy to do. Well, we will go like that. And like that as well. Now the line out here for the Waratahs. Crowd still loving the action that has taken place so far. By Lanu. Now they were just checking on Angus Bell. He is good to go. So now Vailanu be able to throw this one in from 7 metres out. Taken by Hannigan. Playing nicely in the rolling ball. They're looking like they're going towards that touchline. FIJIAN DRUA trying to force it sideways. The ball's going to be hard to get out, but they have managed to do so. Now Gordon goes across to Angus Bell as his neck cranked awkwardly, and that'll be another penalty advantage in favour of this Waratahs side. Gordon, flat ball across. Getting very close to the line, and that's going to be stolen. Was it illegally? No. It's going to be all right. Quick tap taken by Gordon. Throws himself at the line. Once again, just not quite able to get over it for the Waratahs. Vailanu. There are so many FIJIAN DRUA players right next to the breakdown. I don't think they'll be able to get over in this manner. Ball's still there. Gordon now goes off to Bell. 1 metre out. This is brilliant goal line defence. All they need is a wide cutout pass. But this is fantastic defence, and the Drua survive, but they will go back for another penalty advantage in their favour. I'm telling you, Marco, the people don't mean jack. When your leg feels like it's going to tear out of skin, it is a pain I will never forget. Says yikes. And there as well. And brilliant defence draw, says Vinny. It's going to be kicked in a touch by Tane Emi. They are keeping the pressure on, and if any more penalties go against the FIJIAN DRUA here, means that we might end up seeing a yellow card going against the home side. Running out of matches to keep eyes open here. Thanks, Hamish. Are you doing any other games over the weekend? So the next game that we have got starts in an hour and 10 minutes time. That will be the contest taking place between the Chiefs and the Highlanders. Then the Blues versus Crusaders follow straight after at 7:05. And then we've got 2 games of the URC throughout the night. Sharks versus Ulster and Stormers versus Edinburgh. Rolling ball there. Another advantage for the Tars. Now Gordon goes off to the short side. Out wide to Dylan Peach, who's lined up and just slammed towards the touchline by the Drua defence. They'll go back though. How many warnings will the FIJIAN DRUA get now? That has to be close to the last warning, because that is about the 6th advantage against them. Just out from the line throughout this game. Let's go the Drua. Right, the timer's off. The captain's being called over now. And watching from work, says Simran there. So hopefully it's not too busy at work at the moment for you. And they're just talking about the multiple penalties that we've seen. They're having a word now. Meri Deri Alangi. Now kicked in a touch. 5 metres out from the line still for this Waratahs side. Come on the draw. Stay calm, boys. Says Vinny. Yeah, it's going to be important this last 25 minutes that they don't get too caught up in, I guess, the appeal of being able to score another quick fire try. They have to make sure that they are still making their important tackles. Looks like Kemi Valentini now going to be making his way onto the field. And also we're seeing Tristan Riley onto the park for the Waratahs. Nicely taken again by Ned Hannigan. They're looking for the rolling ball, but the drawer are forcing them towards the touchline. And what is being well defended, Gordon goes across to Joey Walton with an extremely flat pass. Now Gordon going to the right-hand side to Tom Ross. They drive him backwards extremely well. That is offside. Another penalty. It is accidental, but the count just keeps on adding up more and more. Everyone's down the other end listening to the band play. So it's the calm before the storm at the moment. So here's 7 and come on the Tars. Here comes the here comes the comeback, I think that is, from Yikes. And there you go, says Ivan. And I was going to go to the Chiefs versus Landers tonight, but looks like it might rain. So I'm going to stay home. My wife is one of those, oh, but the rain will ruin my hair types of woman. You could get her a big hat. Like, that could work. Or a little umbrella. I actually own one of those. Like, I don't tell people that I own them, so I don't know why I'm telling you now. But I've got one of those. I've never worn it out and about. I don't think I would. I think I'd just be too embarrassed. But like it's like one of those rims, and then you have the umbrella on top. It's like dark blue. Big run from Vailanu and over. Joey Walton gets the try, and the Waratahs are now just a little bit further back into this contest. Go the Drua, says Mervyn there. And also, how do people support your stream, Irish, says Dennis. I mean, some people do donate on the streets, but we always say it like they are not compulsory at all. You can also just subscribe to the channel or leave a like. That always helps push it out to new people. But Charlie Gamble looping around Vailanu, then went to Joey Walton, who got the try, almost taken out by his teammate, Dylan Peach, in that run. But the Tahs aren't out of this game yet. 10 points difference between these two sides, with still another 23 minutes remaining. In fact, if this kick goes over, the difference goes down to 9. Dane Ahmed now aligning up this kick. Can he add the extra 2? That is the question at the moment. So I'm trying to narrow that gap a little bit more. And hopefully it doesn't rain too heavily at the game tonight and the Chiefs don't drop the ball and score lots of tries. It's a lot to ask for in a game up against the Highlanders, who have been relatively strong throughout this season so far. But the score is now 33 points to 24. Second half, we've seen more Waratahs tries than we have seen FIJIAN DRUA. One moment, I'm about to sneeze. There we go. Masaki Donge also has made his way off the field. Do you mind if I share your link to a few rugby groups? I always feel a bit weird about it, to be honest. Only because, like, it seems like I'm just doing it on a different account, and it seems like I'm self-promoting. And I feel like those rugby groups, they would prefer to be able to actually see the game type thing. So, like, you don't have to in that regard. If you've got a couple of friends who you think might enjoy it, I'd recommend maybe saying it to them. But I wouldn't go and put the link on big rugby groups or anything like that, mainly because, like, we aren't actually showing the game, if that makes sense. Go the Draw, says Lally. And as I come on the Tahs, says Ivan. It's going to be passed nicely to the left-hand side here. FIJIAN DRUA in position on the halfway line with the Leve Mira. Drua Sisi across into the midfield. They have to try and keep some position here, the FIJIAN DRUA. I think they've been struggling to keep that ball in the field of play. That's going to be the advantage, and the penalty now for the FIJIAN DRUA. Drua Sisi was not on the mark, so he's not able to take it quickly. Then you'll get all the show us the game, bro, comments say, Hamish. Yeah, normally that is what we get. We haven't actually had that too much lately, which is quite nice. But then saying that, we haven't had a Sevens League recently. I think that the Sevens really gives you thick skin, because the amount of abuse of comments I get on those videos or on those streams is quite a lot. Like, a lot of them don't even show up on YouTube because they're that bad that YouTube put them in the to be reviewed section, or they have words that are blocked on YouTube. So they go into a section that I get to see them, which is always very nice. But now they're looking for this kick here, the FIJIAN DRUA. And Hamish, thank you for going to finish, thank you going to finish preparing lunch. And also, late one for us here, says Vinny and Vanaka Drua. Thanks, commentator, says Rami. Thank you very much for being here, mate. So far, we've seen 8 points throughout this game for Armstrong Ravula. Now, he's actually missed his last 2 kicks, though. Got a lot of his points early on in this fixture. Lines this one up. And it's got the distance and the accuracy. The kick goes over. Now giving the Drua the 12-point lead. But there's still time, still another 20 minutes remaining. All the best Tahs in the Drua, says Vinny. Starting to wonder how crucial a couple missed kicks that we've seen earlier on. Not just a few mates I know. I'm sure they would love the crack on here. Crack means fun here. Just in case people might get the wrong idea, says Dennis. I think most people know what you mean. It's a very Irish term, isn't it, in terms of, like, it's good crack. But yeah, it does sound like something else. Now Joey Walton Passes across to Tane Edmed. It was close to a 4 pass. In fact, it was Jorgensen. Now gets it out to Joey Walton again. Hamish Pro says Michelle, welcome in. Now Gordon goes across to the right-hand side. If the Tars want any chance of coming back to win this game, they do need to score again extremely soon. It looks like one of their players is down. It might actually be Joey Walton. Tom Ross, they've called it. It's going backwards. They are still in possession. Now, the clock is actually stopped at the moment on the rugby, I see. So, not sure how far through the contest we actually are in terms of the exact time, but I believe we're around 60 and a half minutes through as we currently sit. Okay, see you later. People's off to the Chiefs game, says Numum, so we will see you later on. Now Gordon goes to Vailanu. One of the medics is checking on Tavita Ikanaveri, making sure he's all right to continue. He has said yes, but he might have to go off for an HIA in the very near future, definitely because he's just thrown his head at the opposition. Big run from Lockie Swinton. Dragged down by Salawa. I think that was Samutawake. This time making the tackle. Another good shot coming in, but great phase play here for the for the Tars. It's another penalty against the Drua. This is going to be a yellow card this time. Australia, how's my uncle and auntie? I hope they're both fine, bro. Yeah, they're both doing extremely well. And that is going to be, I think that's Kitioni Salawa. Yes, it is. Who's been Simbin? Oh, I knew once I said crick. Get a bite, says Dennis. Now the Tars, they are looking to kick this one towards the corner. This is the closest game that we have seen of the weekend. There is a good reason for that. These two sides being competitive in that regard. The Tars can score now. Anything can happen. Just drop though for Lockie Swinton. That little mistake was all it took. Okay, so the clock is wrong at the moment on the game. They are currently sitting at 59 minutes, but I believe we're up to about 61. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. When we get near the end of the game, it will actually be a bit earlier than the clock says. Now, thrown in, nicely taken by the Waratahs. They're rolling maul, looking to add another 7 points. Charlie Gamble, Anna gets it away. The knee was down for Vailanu, but it is the try for the Waratahs. Sounds like one hell of a game. It's been a very close back and forth encounter. The Tars are claiming it. I'd like to think that they will just check this one to make sure that his knee was not down before he got back up and propelled himself towards the try line. As the pouring rain, the sun's actually come back out at the contest, believe it or not. So, yeah, it's definitely 50-50 weather for this contest. Here we go. We're going to see it here. Gets the ball. The knee goes down there, but I believe the benefit that he had is he didn't try and propel himself. Once that knee went down, he did slam down. We're going to see it from the back here. Oh, no, there's a bit of a leap forward off the knee there, so could have been an argument to have a look at it. Good job, lads, says Ivan. And come on, the Tars, says yikes, but now Tane Edmed to line up this kick. The Tars, they were down by a margin and a bit. But now, chance of Tane Edmed to close the gap just that little bit more, and he's missed it. That was an important kick that needed to go over, and he wasn't able to do so. Go like this, and like that. There we go, just looking at the odds, like I mentioned. The Waratahs are only considered $4 underdogs now in this contest, and they have been in a position of being a massive underdog in this game already. But the draw, with the fact that they have only got 14 men on the field, with the fact that the heat is starting to hit both of these sides even more than it already has, be some late unpredictable nature. Looks like the draw are having a drinks break. You should be over here. Buckets of wet stuff are falling all night. Did I hear summer is coming soon? Says Dennis. I'd love to go to the Aviva to watch a game of rugby at some point. I feel like that would be quite cool. Also going to Fiji to be able to watch a game of rugby would be awesome. I don't know if it's happening anytime soon, but one day. I was joking about the Tars coming back, but now pretty worried they might actually come back. Says yikes. Well, the benefit is that kick missed from Taineme, because if that kick did go over, that'd only be a converted try away from the lead. But now they need a converted try just to get back to level. We could see golden point time here. I know it's a bit early to judge drastically, but there's still a lot that could still happen in this game. Great attacking run forward from the Waratahs replacement 19. Now Gordon back into the pocket to Taineme. Nicely taken by FIJIAN Drua Live. Armstrong Ravula. As I boot that ball and touch up the Tars. Says Marco. Now on the halfway line, sorry Fiji, but let's go Tars. Says Defunk. And of course for both of these sides, this is such a crucial game in the overall competition. Both outside of the top 8. Whoever wins this more than likely will finish within the top 8 for the end of round number 5. Now, we did see Moana Pacifica defeated in their game up against the Brumbies. We also did see the Hurricanes get themselves the victory over the Rebels, which does mean that both of these two sides have the potential of going ahead of both teams, depending on the result. And this one, although it does look like only 4 points will be available for these sides if they win rather than the 5, that is due to the fact that we're seeing so many tries scored relatively evenly. Max Jorgensen, ball on the outside, slapped back by Rakuro. And well done by Ravo Talmanda. He's actually had a very quiet game today out on that wing. And also tarred and feathered. And how many minutes remaining for that sin bin guy? He has still got another 5.5 minutes remaining in the sin bin. So it could be a relatively long time, definitely because the Drua are inside of their own half. Matawalu gets it away to Armstrong Ravula, kicks it clear, but only to 10 metres out from their own line. There is another chance for the Waratahs to be able to fire back straight away here. They've got time off again due to some injuries. And Drua baby, says Amelia. Right, they have taken Rakuro off the field. And also, Hereti Hatit is off. We see Apeli Momo make his way onto the park. It's been pretty solid throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season. Tars come back. See, there's a Noi there. Now throw for the Waratahs is good. Charlie Gamble charges at the line, but he's taken down 5 metres out. Another penalty here for the Drua could actually lead to a second yellow card. Now Gordon, flat ball. Good spin from Angus Bell. Moving only a few metres out for the Tars. That is close to the line and they are over. They get themselves another one. And we're going to be sitting 36-36 in this contest with 16 minutes remaining. The Drua seem like they've run out of puff. And the Waratahs, they have found their second wind. 20 plus points have been scored between these two sides. In fact, almost 30 plus points in the second half. The Waratahs were on 10. They have added 26 in total for the second half of rugby. And I think the Drua have added the 10 in total. Just spinning over. Lockie Swinton is the man who got the try. The comeback is looking successful at the moment. And now the Drua, I believe they're almost considered as underdogs here. Yes, they are $2.50 underdogs as opposed to the Waratahs, who are also sitting at around that $2.35-ish in this matchup. So it's going to make for an exciting finish between these two sides. Hey, Serious Amy says, yikes, I certainly am. And when, or just when you thought, new self in your mouth, we were going to get pumped. Let's go the Tars, and sorry, yikes. There's a Fluffy in there. It'll be very hard to predict who does actually win this contest now. Of course, the Waratahs are sitting in a very good position to go on and win it. But we are still sitting at 36-36. What's happening, Crusaders? They seem to be going pretty bad this year. They have been struggling overall. 15 minutes remaining, though. Drua. It's still got a chance of winning this game. But we could also go to golden point time. Mistake made by FIJIAN Drua Live. Luckily for him, the ball was already out. So the line out is available for the Drua once more here. And drop goal will win it, says Anoi. But which of these sides is more likely to take on a drop kick is probably the bigger question. The draw in position on the halfway line. Armstrong. Ravula goes across to a Pelimomo. In the midfield at the moment, Ravatamanda. He's the type of player that in this scenario you want to have on the field. Oh, he looks injured. He looks like he stayed down here, Ravatamanda. He's taken a bit of a head knock. Just as I was saying, he's the type of player you need out there. He is staying down. Golden point, neither. Stairs Hanoi. Is there 2 bins for the draw? No, just the one. Playing on now. Big run from Tanieri. They have advantage at the moment, the Fijian Drua. Even though they've only got a few less men on the field, that is a big penalty to win, though. I'm more concerned about Ravatamanda if he's going to be able to continue in this game. They've already made their sub. Number 17 offside. It's going to be Hayden Thompson-Stringer, the man who has taken off. Now, I should mention the women's kickoff for the game that has taken place between the Fijian Drua and the Waratahs is coming just around the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, that is, of course, a local time. They're going to go for the post here for Armstrong Ravula. He gets this kick over. Could help them out drastically. So an offside for number 17. Markin, did you say you're not Samoan? Says Anoi. Armstrong Ravula. He's had a pretty good kicking day. He has missed the 2, though, earlier on. See, one of them was one of his easiest kicks of the day. Couldn't get it over. This one, though, so important that this goes between the posts. Now, I should mention the clock at the game is actually wrong at the moment. The one that we can see up in the top corner of the actual footage. They are behind by about a minute and a half, so I believe we're up to about 69 minutes at the moment in this game at Armstrong Ravula. He hasn't struck that one the best, and it's gone away to the side, which means the Tars and the Drua both still sit with 36 points on the board. Tars doing well on the heat. Says Hanoi. Time has been turned off. And it looks like they are going to be making some subs. The yellow card still has another minute or so remaining here. Little moments now. That will be the difference for who wins this game and who is defeated. Here comes Eliza Drua Sisi driving up to the halfway line. Gets back up to his feet. It was close to being held. Lucky not to be penalised. Matawalu now going across. Armstrong Ravula. One more in behind. Zaril Togiotama gets it away to Wanga. And they are 40 metres from the line again here, the Fijian Drua. It seems like they've found that second gear, but that is going to be a knock-on from the Drua. Tanieri not able to hold it. That hurts for the Fijian Drua. Like they've said, the Tars know that that pressure is now there. I don't know who's winning this game, I'll be honest. I feel like this could easily go either way for these two sides. Drop kick from 90 metres line, says Marco. And come on the Tars, says Ivan. Of course, the last game that we saw go to Golden Point was actually the Hurricanes versus the Reds. And in that game, the Hurricanes getting themselves the victory. A draw will be a good result, although there are no draws in Super Rugby Pacific, unless, of course, it is drawn during Golden Point time as well. I don't think that we're going to see a draw here. There we go. The clock is actually updated. It's up to 74 minutes through this game. So the clock had actually stopped for quite a bit of time. I mentioned how they were a couple minutes behind. Now up to 74 and a half. The Waratahs to win is paying $3.20. The Drua to win is paying $3. Chance of a draw is extremely high here. I honestly don't know who's winning it. Like I said, I feel like both of these sides have more than enough capabilities of getting the job done. There is another free kick going the way of the Tars here. Too much movement. I just skipped 8 minutes. Says Hanoi. So yeah, it's definitely a lot further ahead than we did anticipate. And Tars definitely won this. Says Ivan. They've got a good chance. But there is still the chance for both of these sides. And come on, boys, says Ivan. Mark Nwanganitawasi. Oh no, it's just gone back. It's gone to 73.5 minutes now. It's just skipped back an extra minute. So there's still time. The Waratahs just inside of their own territory with the scrum feed. Winning a penalty here, of course, would be ideal. Come on, the Drua. Says a Wendy there as Edmund playing for the Tars. He certainly is. Him and Gordon. Doesn't look like they want to make that change. They seem like they want to keep those two out there on the field for as long as possible. Looping set play here for the Waratahs. Taineme ball on the outside goes to Max Jorgensen. Now Mark Nwanganitawasi was brave to go down the wing, but it's a brilliant pickup there from replacement 18. Getting close now, the Waratahs. Tom Ross in the midfield. Taken down by the FIJIAN Drua defence, who are playing now with 15 men on the field. Massive shot coming in. Little bit of a counter-ruck from Rotui Solia. Back to the future. Says a Fluffy. Now Gordon goes off to Lockie Swinton. In fact, it's Sinclair. Oh, close to the turnover for the Drua, but he didn't have the ball. Apeli Momo, the crowd thought he had it. But it's still available for the Tars, the away side. Trying to pull off a victory in Fiji is not easy to do. But this Drua side, they've let them back into the game in the second half, and it may hurt them big time here. Now Gordon goes across. Joey Walton, Edmere with the pass out wide to Mark Nwanganitawasi. Great low tackle made on him by Osefo Masi, a man who has got the potential of changing this game. The roll away there, the Drua, and they do just that. Still 5 minutes remaining. The Tars playing for an advantage. They are yet to receive one, though. Now, Gordon. I don't think they'll go for a drop kick here. I think a try would be the much better option to search for. There's still 5 minutes remaining. Edmed goes off to the right-hand side. It's knocked on by Jorgensen. He was looking up. It looks like Armstrong Ravula. Chance for the counter-attack from the Fijian Drua. Apeli Momo with the kick in behind. That time it's knocked on by Ravatamanda, so it is back in the hands of the Waratahs. I am surprised that Ravatamanda is still on the field after the way that he stayed down after a previous head knock. Now Mark Nwanganitawasi going for the territory kicking game. Hasn't gone into touch as of yet. It's going to be a little bit of pressure here on Eliza Druasisi, who runs it up and does boot it into touch down towards the halfway line. A great clearing kick. This one is not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. 45 metres out from the line. The Tars have got possession at line-out time. They may be considered a counter-attack there, the Fijian Drua, but I think that they opted to try and go a little bit less aggressive. Go for that chip in behind. The coaches are looking nervous for both of these sides. Gamble took a gamble and caked it. Says a Marco. Moment in terms of the odds, the Waratahs to win this game are $7.50 underdogs. The Drua are $4.20. So the chance of either of these sides walking away with a victory at the moment seems relatively slim, but the Drua are back in position now. Once again, some big shots coming in, but the Drua have got this ball with 3 minutes remaining. The Tars, they'd love to pull off a victory at Te Ehuaru Thrikadavita. One of the replacements makes his way onto the field. Tars looking for a penalty if they can get it. They'll be in a great position to take the 3. But Eliza Druasisi, knockback. Gordon takes it on the halfway line. Drill with the counter ruck, but leaving his feet there. Penny Matawalu, and it leads to the penalty for the Tars again. Go Dolman telling him, you didn't get back to your feet. They need a 3-6-2 play, you know. Says yikes. And also here there come on Tars, says Ivan. And go the Drua, says Wendy. Chance now for the Waratahs. This kick will get them to probably only about 20 or so metres out from the line. It's exactly what they need. That is a sensational kick from Taineme. Getting the distance on that as how everyone could kick this. Says Hanoi, although with altitude in the favour, of course, it's always going to travel further. Possession 50-50 between these two sides, ladies and gents. Both of these teams have a chance of still winning this game at 78 minutes. If we don't see any points scored, we go to golden point time, in which both sides still can get themselves a win. But 20 metres out, chance here to get it right. Waratahs taking it well at rolling maul time. And it starts to slowly work its way forward. FIJIAN Drua trying to shut it down. Gordon, though, goes across to Taney. In fact, it's Joey Walton. Any penalty advantage here might cost the FIJIAN Drua the game. Gordon goes across to Swinton. Makes 2 meters. Again, Ned Hannigan with a nice spin attempt. Worked in his head, but not on the field. There's a lot of swearing going on that I can hear through the referee's microphone. I don't know whether or not they would want to go for the drop kick attempt here, the Waratahs, or whether they go and just try and get the job done. Looks like they're going to use their backline. Joey Walton, who's been one of the standouts, finds the pass on the outside to Taney. They're 15 metres from the line now, the Waratahs, with only a few seconds remaining on the clock. That was close to a knock-on. Gordon goes across. Swinton almost drops it. But they've still got it here, the Waratahs. They want to go. Oh, it's this time a knock-on. Now the Drua, last chance of the contest. Ravatamunda carving through. Believe there will be a bandage over Armstrong Ravula. He's got the pace, but he's dropped the ball. It's gone into touch. And we are going to golden point, ladies and gentlemen. Both sides right in this contest to the final whistle. And it is not over yet. It's golden point. That's what they are saying. I think one of the commentators was trying to say that these two sides will share the points, but they ain't sharing them yet. Third time lucky. Knock on Goldfinger, says Fluffy there, and that's us Drua. Says Wendy there. So now both of these sides have potential of going on and getting themselves a victory right at the end of the contest. Like they've said, 40-degree heat, 100% humidity. These two sides have put it all out there on the line, and now they have to go there a little bit deeper into their gas tank. Some of the players were probably playing to try and get the job done, of course, after their 80 minutes. They wouldn't have wanted more time that they had to face off with the opposition. This is anyone's game and easily could go both ways, ladies and gents. But do let me know now in the chat, who's going to win this game? Is it going to be the Drua at home or the Waratahs? And I actually feel the Waratahs, at the moment, I would argue, have the momentum. And Oppa says Anoi. And Oppa Wade says Fluffy in there. And third time lucky not gone. And this is why I love rugby, says Dennis. In Fiji means foreskin, says Team Cabling. There we go. A little bit of knowledge for the day. And thanks, Kiwi Lad says, Wendy, the game's not over, Wendy. We've still got golden point time. These two sides have to keep playing for a little bit longer. So the rulings of golden point time, ladies and gentlemen, pretty much self-explanatory in a way. Whoever scores the first point of the game from the extra time will manage to get themselves the victory here. Ahmed will be feeling the pressure, says Annoy. It's surprising in a way that the Tars did opt to go for that try so often rather than trying to drop him into the pocket, but maybe that's just not the way that they wanted to finish this game. They wanted to get it done with a try instead. And they were also looking to get that penalty advantage, which never quite came for them in those final few moments. Ariagde Abawade even wears a t-shirt with a finger on it, says Marco. And Momentum Shifts, mate, says Defunct. Yeah, the start of this game was the Tars. Then the rest of the first half was the FIJIAN Drua. Early on in the second half, the Tars took it back. Then it went back to the Drua. And then the Waratahs, I would say, in the last about 25 minutes, have had all momentum with the occasional chance for the FIJIAN Drua to counter. I think it's going to be so important, the decision made in terms of who is going to be the team receiving the kickoff. Now, that is something that the Reds did poorly. I'm just showing Armstrong Ravula couldn't get the offload away. Both players had their faces in the ground. They were tired. They were extremely fatigued on Saturday today, FMG Stadium, Waikato. Chiefs versus the Highlanders today. Yes, says a read. It is indeed. And Freddie got fingered, says Fluffy. Sounds like an interesting spin-off of a Halloween series. Freddy Krueger, right? They've got the coin toss. Osefo is going to flip the coin. Jake Gordon gets the call. Heads is the call. It is a tail, right. Okay. So, okay. That was interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Osefo said, we want to go that way. Now, that would have meant theoretically that Jake Gordon got to choose who receives the kickoff, whether that be the Tars or the Drua. Now, James Dolman said to the other man, Osefo, he said, you get to pick if you receive or kick off. And he ended up saying, yeah, we'll kick off. So I think that the referee there has actually saved the draw from ending up receiving the kick rather than kicking it, which has worked in their favour because, of course, in this scenario, you want to be the team kicking off and you kick it deep into opposition territory so that they either have to kick it out or they have to try and run it out and end up with the penalty, although they've gone with a short kickoff here, the Fijian draw, and it hasn't worked out. They've given the Tars the ball. Joey Walton in possession. It's kind of worked, though, because that ball was still loose. So now the Tars inside of their own 22 where they should be in this case. 40 degrees Celsius is a hell of a heat, geez. And that was dry. Says a yikes. Now Jake Gordon has been told to use it. And I put this one up high in extra time. Down towards the halfway line. Doesn't find touch. Nicely taken by Eliza Druasisi. Wanted to go for the offload, but he decides to hang on to it. And Dylan Peach has been able to tie him up. Trying to put him down now. And that ball will almost be stuck in there. Luckily, it wasn't called as a maul. In fact, the Tars get the penalty. 21. Penny Matawalu has been warned and he has been sent to the bin now, ladies and gentlemen. He was angry about that decision. James Dolman calls him over and said, look, the ball was there. You've hit him in the head 3 times. Get off the field. So that means the draw are playing with 14. Edmed will kick it towards the touchline as they don't want to go for the 3 from 50 plus metres out. We have got there like a chocolate only crunchy. Says Fluffy and come on the draw, it's yours. Says Wendy. And no way, that's harsh. Yes, he was slapping the player on the head on the ground. James Dolman says, nah, I'm not having it. And so much swearing for the crowds. Says Ivan, yeah, they're passionate about this game. Stolen by the drawer at line out time. It's going to be knocked on by the Tars. And it will now be a Fijian Drua scrum from 25 metres out from their line. I guess I say to the person, I will determine the chewiness. Says yikes, then go on the drawer. A multiple brain explosion from the drawer at a very bad time. Yep. They've made 3 crucial errors already in extra time, and we're only going for 2 minutes. So those type of decisions can be the big difference maker. But currently, there's going to be a scrum here for the drawer. 25 metres out from their own line. They've got a long way to go, but they are still in it. Ball's going to be fed in now by Armstrong Ravula. Of course, they do not have their halfback, and Penny Matawalu got himself yellow carded just before. The ball is fed into that scrum. It's gone down in the front rows. Away he was sent off, so he was hitting a player in the head on the ground. But I think there was also something else in that breakdown that caused James Dolman to upgrade it from a penalty to a yellow card. I think it was the way that he was getting maybe spoken to by Penny Matawalu. And come on the Tars. Says Ivan, that will be the penalty to the Fijian Drua. Tars in the breakdown, getting it wrong. Latoka, come on, Drua. Says a Wendy. And cheesy sounds like add garlic, please. Says yikes. Now, Armstrong Ravula will be looking for the touchline here again. Has managed to put their ball into touch. Still time left. Of course, we are in extra time, ladies and gentlemen. I believe it is 5 minutes of extra time each half. Might even be 10. But I believe it is only the 5 There is a lot of sweat on that field at the moment. And Drua, one good play. They have it. Be smart, boys, says Johnny Annan. Now thrown in. That is not straight, but it's knocked on by Kemu Valentini. An advantage in favour of the Tahs. They pass it out wide. Just taken down Tristan Riley. Gets back up to his feet. But isn't able to find another offload, so the advantage is now over. They go out to Lockie Swinton. Drua having to defend like their lives depend on it. Tom Ross, 10 metres out. Come on, boys, says Dover Boy. Or Dover Boy, it might actually be, sorry. Now Swinton, 5 metres out. Gordon goes across to Hughes Sinclair. Fijian Drua need to win a penalty, and they haven't been able to do so as of yet. Now Joey Walton tackled. Gordon back into the pocket. Edmund with a drop kick. He's at the post. And it's bounced back out for the Drua now on the counter-attack. It was the lowest drop kick we have seen in quite some time. It went about this height, well, maybe a metre or two off the ground, scones it straight into the post. Both sides making crucial errors throughout extra time at this point. Now passed back into the pocket to Armstrong Ravula. He slips over. I think he just collapsed. And this game is not over yet, ladies and gentlemen, but that is why they didn't put Edmund in the pocket last time, I believe. I think that's just shown it. Lamani trying to fire up his team from the sideline. Should have finished the game a while back, man, says Dover Boy. Yeah, both sides had their chance to win it, and both haven't been able to do so. Come on, Fiji, says Jason. And also we have got there what happens if no score after full-time goal kicks. So after full-time, I believe that is when they go to the draw. Looks like they're going to continue, though. So it is 10 minutes of extra time both ways, I believe. I'd like to think that someone would have some form of point before the end of that time, but it's very hard to tell. Looks like Glenn Jackson on the field at the moment, run the water for the Fijian Drua boys. One now going to have try and defend the slide out. Of course, we have got another game just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. That is the game taking place at 4:30 p.m. New Zealand time. That is between the Chiefs and the Highlanders. And if it is anything like this contest, there is going to be a lot of excitement. The Tahs not straight through. And the Drua, in fact, there was a knock on from the Tahs. No, they've called it as not straight. I was going to say I thought it was not straight rather than knock on. And what a match, says Bruce Head. So far, we've seen 4 lost lineouts from the Tahs compared to the 3 lost lineouts of the Drua. The Drua only a 50% lineout throughout this game. It almost looked like under 9s. No one really jumped for the Tahs. They just kind of jumped up from feet on the ground rather than lifting. Now another scrum feed. The fact that Penny Matawalu's yellow card could be over by the time we see a point scored here just shows you how close these two sides are now on paper. And I don't think it's going to be very long until we start seeing players collapsing due to just pure exhaustion of playing big scrum. Penalty won by the Drua again. So help them march up the field. But like I mentioned, only a 50% line-out accuracy. But a push and shove between the front rows. Starting to get a bit more aggressive out there on the field. A bit more feeling out there. And so let's go. The Drua says Windy and what a match, says Arami. And what was the final score in the Canes match, by the way? So the Canes ended up winning that game 54 points to 28, I believe, in the end for their contest. And go the Drua, go, says DJ Kumar. So some cramp for one of the Waratahs players. Armstrong Ravula puts it into touch. This will be about 30 metres out now for the Drua. 87 minutes into this contest, ladies and gentlemen. What a game, says Annoy. Yeah, both sides have had their moments where they could have won it. We saw that drop kick attempt from Tane Edmed did not work, which has meant that this game has continued. And for his sake, of course, the Tahs will be hoping they get another chance very soon. And come on, the Drua from Wales, says Dover Boy. Ball is nicely thrown in and claimed. Although through the middle of the line out, I believe they have actually got one of their players in there, the Tahs. Can't hold on to this one for too long. Pozaril Togio Atama offloads it back to a Pele Momo. Advantage there for the Drua from 30 metres out. This is their chance now to throw everything at the opposition. back into the pocket. It looked like they were considering, it's a drop kick attempt from Kimi Valentini, and he gets it over. They don't need their penalty. And the Drua beat the Tahs in extra time, 39 points to 36. The crowd have erupted. The babies in the crowd are crying because of all the noise, but the Drua have got the job done. Our well-deserved beers for these two great commentary games, says Mr. All, and both teams will definitely be getting on the grog tonight at 3 AM in London. In this game, please, says Rapati, and that is going to be the end of this fixture. They've already cut off Super Rugby. Sky in New Zealand have just cut it off. They aren't showing the celebration for the draw because they have build up to do of Highlanders versus Chiefs, but that was a finish and a half. The Drua keep their winning streak at home alive. And we've got ads. I can't believe they cut off the final moments in terms of the celebration for the Drua because they wanted to show a couple ads before they go into that next game. That is quite rough, but the Drua get the job done. Ladies and gentlemen, I get to sleep now, knowing Drua won, and I was in Drua, massive respect, says Bruce. And of course, the next game is only 27 minutes away, ladies and gentlemen. The match between the Chiefs and the Highlanders. That now makes them move up into the top. I also got an ad, says Pads Ablaze, and a what says Wendy, and also Few says Rapati, and then I all says Shaven Ryan. And there as well, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. But the win goes the way of the Fijian Drua, and golden point time. It is the kick from Kimi Valentini. Now, they already had the penalty advantage, so we assumed that there was a high chance that there was going to be the chance of a Armstrong Ravula finish. So this one little token, whether it's hot, they've played in extreme heat. Wind calmed down to give way to Drua to sail through, and also might as well stay on. Says Mr. All In, although it is a separate live stream that we have got that is going to be in 26 minutes time, ladies and gentlemen, that one will be taking place. The Fijian Drua get the job done in extra time. That is now the second golden point time that we have seen in Super Rugby Pacific. The last one, of course, happening between the Reds and the Hurricanes, in which the Hurricanes were able to get themselves the victory. But I think in terms of standout players for the Fijian Drua, Armstrong Ravula did extremely well. Also, Frank Lamani, those two 50-22s, it can't be underestimated how important they were in terms of the outcome of this contest. Osefo Masi, I wanted to save him for last, getting himself the hat-trick throughout that first half. We didn't actually really see him throughout the second half of rugby, but the impact that he had throughout the first definitely helped the Fijian Drua in their task of trying to get themselves the win. Nerve-cracking, says Wendy there, and great call, brother, says yikes, and Chiefs to win the league. Here's Dover Boy and there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, for this live stream. And next one that we are doing is at 4:30 PM New Zealand time. That will be the matchup taking place between the Highlanders and the Chiefs at Waikato Stadium. And then the next game after that, it is going to be the Blues versus Crusaders. That is going to be a very entertaining game as well. Followed by the URC, we are doing the Sharks versus Ulster, as well as Edinburgh versus the Stormers. Those two games at 2 AM and also 4:05 AM New Zealand time. And thanks, mate. Reminds you of that last game versus France. Sexton drop kick last seconds. Says Dennis. And reminds you of the game Sexton was in tears. Yelling abuse at Rico. Says Marco there as well. But 24 minutes away from the next live stream that we are going to be doing on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, be sure, of course, to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated you'll being here for this one. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. And we will see you all for the next match between the between the Highlanders and the Chiefs.